These two bull elephants are dueling. Their purpose is not for anything else, but because they both have their sights set on a female elephant in the herd who is in heat. However, even the victor must gain the approval of the matriarch Nara, this mother-in-law. Soon the two bull elephants had decided the winner. The winning bull elephant approached the female herd. To please his mother-in-law, he was particularly gentlemanly towards Nara's young son Gita. However, even so, Nara remained unmoved. At this point the bull elephant seemed to understand. He approached a strangely shaped tree, and then directly wrapped his trunk around the top of the tree. The leaves of this tree have excellent medicinal properties, and are a very precious food for elephants. This is his betrothal gift to the female herd. As expected, the matriarch Nara agreed to let him join the herd. The bull elephant found the female elephant. Next, he would prepare to breed his next generation, and strive for it. Not long ago, the matriarch Nara gave birth to his second son. The newborn Gita appeared very fragile. Today is a special day. Almost all members of the herd gathered around, wanting to help the little one stand up as soon as possible. This is what the young elephant Gita must learn right after birth. If he cannot stand up now, he will be in danger forever. Therefore the herd members were all trying hard to help the little one stand up. Despite falling many times, little Gita did not give up. At this moment, the bonds of kinship were quietly forged, tightly connecting every member of the herd. This young elephant is Nara's eldest son Porta, Gita's own brother. Before his brother was born, he was the youngest in the herd, and the focus of everyone's care and attention. But since Gita's birth, his mother and aunt elephants no longer paid him as much attention. Now little Gita had become the focus of the herd's attention. Porta, meanwhile, still sulked in a corner, unhappy about losing the herd's previous favoritism, and didn't come forward to help. When Nara saw her eldest son still throwing a tantrum, she went straight to him and gave him a lesson. She had to make Porta understand that as he was nearing adulthood, his status within the herd is beginning to shift. He must find his place within the herd. Being replaced by his younger brother is a bitter pill to swallow. But as Gita's older brother, and a bull elephant on the verge of adulthood, Porta must now live with the herd, prioritizing the safety of the newborns. However, Nara must first ensure her younger son is accepted into the family, then guide her elder son to maturity. But on the path of a young elephant's growth, whether resisting change or seeking it, change is never easy. So Porta must grow, and he must learn. Every morning, Nara leads the members of the herd to the watering hole. Today Gita will take his first bath since birth. Elephants are naturally defenseless against water. Even the little ones experiencing water for the first time felt an immense sense of familiarity. Nala also began to play happily with little Gita. When Porta was the last to arrive at the water's edge, he saw his younger sibling enjoying the exceptionally high treatment he used to receive. And all of this left him bewildered. He couldn't understand why overnight everyone's attitude towards him had changed so drastically. While Porta was still lost in thought, his mother, along with the herd and the young ones, was already preparing to leave. He could only follow behind silently. Currently Porta still couldn't find his new place within the herd. Nala led the elephant herd to a lush grassland rich with fresh grass. Little Gita was filled with curiosity about everything around her. Soon she was attracted by a few small birds and chased after them. Unbeknownst to him, he had strayed far from the herd. But at this very moment, a young male lion lurking in the nearby grass had set his sights on him. Immediately after, the cub spotted another group, a lioness approaching him. Little Gita began to panic. Fortunately at this time, Porta, following behind the herd, spotted the pride of lions and sounded the alarm in time. Upon receiving the warning, Nara led the elephant herd to Gita's side immediately, surrounding the cub and forming a protective wall. Seeing his younger sibling was safe, Boda turned and began to engage the lion pride. Facing the lion's assault, he was not intimidated at all, displaying the fighting spirit of a young bull elephant. The lionesses, seeing they couldn't take down this formidable bull elephant, there was no way, so they had no choice but to give up and retreat. This time Boda saved his brother and protected the other calves in the herd. He finally found his place within the herd. As the rainy season ended, the drought followed. While leading the herd, Nala also had to care for her own calf. Because of the hot weather, he was leading the herd to a wetland. Today is Gita's first time entering the swamp. Unlike a river, the mud in the swamp is an elephant's favorite way to cool down. But Gita now doesn't have a good feeling about this swamp. Because of its size, it's very difficult for it to walk here. His older brother Boda had come of age. In the world of elephants, bull elephants can no longer live with the matriarchal herd once they mature. He had now been ostracized by his own herd, forced to spend his time alone nearby. As little Gita followed her mother preparing to come ashore, he encountered difficulty. The herd members saw this and rushed to help. For African elephant herds, unity is strength. When one elephant is in trouble, help will surely come from all sides. Even Boda arrived in time to help his younger brother. With everyone's efforts, little Gita also managed to climb up. A few days later, Nara led the herd to the only watering hole in this grassland. However, drinking water was not their only objective. At this time of year, this is also the time when these scattered herds of elephants gather. Here Nara can also meet many old friends. Boda is unusually excited about this gathering, because for him, he can make new friends his own age. These days have really worn him out. Boda quickly found himself among the herd, making friends with a young bull elephant. Playful roughhousing is a unique way for bull elephants to bond. This allows them to expend their excess energy. Even his younger brother Gita imitated the young elephants beside him, following suit. But Boda seems a bit too excited. He suddenly developed a strong interest in another female elephant. Mother Nara sees all of this. She knows her eldest son has completely grown up. It's time to drive him out of her herd. And what happened next only accelerated this decision. As little Gita was roughhousing with her new playmate, her fiercely protective older brother Boda thought his younger sibling was being bullied. He immediately shoved the other cub to the ground. This was a bit much, and it made the other elephant herd extremely uncomfortable. To ease the awkward situation, Nala had no choice but to expel her from the herd. Boda was already a mature bull elephant, and it was time for him to begin his solitary wandering life. But for any animal, leaving family for the first time to fend for oneself is painful. Boda was no exception. He could only stand there, sadly watching his mother lead the herd away. As evening fell, Boda, with nowhere to go, discovered the remains of a deceased bull elephant. In his mind, he seemed to see his own future. He didn't want to die alone like this. Immediately after, he chased in the direction his herd had disappeared. The next morning, Nala led the herd back to this watering hole to drink. However, this time a pride of lions appeared near the pond. But as Africa's largest mammals, Nala's herd wasn't afraid of them. On the contrary, the lions, seeing the herd arrive, had no choice but to obediently give way. Little Gita was playing to her heart's content by the water, with her mother Nala. However, she didn't know that her brother had been nearby all along, but dared not approach them. Boda had understood his mother's intentions, and knew that he no longer had a place in this herd. Now he could only follow them from afar, watching. He could only watch them from afar now. Boda vented his unhappiness in the water. until Nara led the herd of female elephants away. This time he didn't follow. He walked alone by the waterhole. He took all the unhappiness of the past few days and vented it all out. But soon, young bull elephants with similar experiences appeared. As soon as they met, they happily greeted each other intimately. Boda finally found new companions, and they were fellow wanderers of the same fate. From this moment on, their friendship was established. A new life was about to begin. A long-awaited downpour marked the arrival of the rainy season. The river's water level began to rise. To reach the tender grass on the other side of the river, Nara had to lead the herd and the calves on a perilous crossing. But little Gita was too small. As they reached the middle of the river, her legs could no longer touch the riverbed. At this moment, Nara wanted to protect her calf with all her might. But in the swift current, it wasn't easy. The other members of the herd were about to rush to help. But before they could, little Gita was swept away by the surging water. In the panic, the other members of the herd were also trapped. Nara could only help the other elephants first, to quickly get to safety on shore, and then rescue the calf that was swept away from the shore. Little Gita's strength was quickly being depleted in the water. The herd on shore had to race against time. Fortunately, the calf was washed ashore by the current near the roots of a tree. Nara and the herd arrived just in time. After the herd's combined efforts, finally little Gita was successfully rescued. This brush with death truly terrified the little one. He could only lie on the ground to recover. The herd's elephants stood guard over little Gita, patiently waiting for him to regain his strength. Meanwhile, on the other side, Boda and his new companion were getting by. Though they had lost the care of the herd, the two bull elephants supporting each other in the wild was relatively safe. And today, they were lucky enough to encounter a bachelor bull elephant herd. However, to join this bull elephant herd, Boda would have to pass the leader's test. Because bull elephant herds are different from cow elephant herds, they generally have no blood ties. So every new member must demonstrate their strength. The leader will test Boda's strength to establish his position in the herd. But this test is clearly for young Boda, who is currently the worst performer. Fortunately, the herd leader eventually accepted him. Although Boda's rank is currently the lowest, at least he now has a home of his own, no longer living a nomadic life.